You're listening to the Law of Attraction Radio Network.
International success coach and noted author Constance Arnold delivers life-changing strategies through her own spiritual practices, as well as with best-selling authors and experts that she interviews. Think, Believe, and Manifest is specially designed to empower your mind and words to work for you and to bring about a life you've been dreaming of. And now, here's Constance Arnold.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Law of Attraction Radio Network. And, of course, I am Constance Arnold, your most gracious host. And today I am featuring my live call-in show, and I am so excited about it. That's right. It is your opportunity to call in, and I am privileged and honored to have the opportunity to coach you, to assist you, to share with you strategies and techniques that move you from where you are to where you desire to be. And just so grateful that you're on the call today. So I have with me an author and a visualization and a serial entrepreneur and just a wonderful person, Pete Adams, who's going to assist me in answering the questions. What's going on, Pete?
Hey, Constance, great to be on your show again. I'm pretty fired up about hearing these live questions. It seems like a great opportunity to help some people get a little bit further along to reach their goals, and I couldn't be any more happy to be here. Thanks so much. Well,
Pete, you're Exhibit A, and we just want to help people tonight. What's the weather like in Colorado?
Oh, it's gorgeous. I won't say how cool it is because I know you get mad at me.
I get mad at you.
Yeah, you in Atlanta, but it's gorgeous, and we're two hours behind you, so it's still pretty early in the afternoon here. So it's gorgeous. It's just another day on God's playground. It's beautiful out.
Yes.
For the past 30 years, Constance Arnold has coached clients globally in the areas of relationships, wealth, and career. Her vast clinical background gives her extraordinary understanding of human behavior to accelerate manifestation. Every coaching client receives proven action plans to create change from the inside out. Constance will be right by your side. Talk to her today at Constance@fulfillingyourpurpose.com.
Do you have an upcoming event where you need a dynamic speaker? Constance Arnold is a sought-after keynote speaker that will enlighten the entire audience with proven strategies that are aligned with your organization's vision and mission. An experienced speaker for major Fortune 500 companies, Constance has entertained audiences with inspiring change. Constance would love to make your next event an extraordinary success. Contact her today at Constance@fulfillingyourpurpose.com.
It's here, it's hot, and it's a must-read. It's the science behind the Law of Attraction magazine. Every issue brings you great articles and in-depth how-tos from all your favorite Law of Attraction experts, authors, scientists, and medical professionals. Go to lawofattractionmagazine.net. That's lawofattractionmagazine.net.
Well, let's get started. And so all of the people on the call, we believe that everybody on the call, that it is a divine connection, and it's your opportunity to ask me and Pete anything. And so right now I have everybody muted, and so I see one person who has hit *6. If you want to unmute and ask the question, hit *6. So we're going to get started, Pete, with our first caller, and the last four of that phone number is 5977. How you doing, caller?
Hi, Constance Arnold. First of all, I just want to tell you that I've attended a couple of your conferences, and I know you have influenced lives all over Georgia, especially. And I just want to thank you for the help you've given me through the years.
Well, thank you. And your name is?
I am Lucy Sharp.
Hi, Lucy.
Nice to hear your voice and get the chance to speak to you one-on-one this way. I am entering into another phase in my life where nurturing my grandchildren is it's an important part of where I am. But I don't know how to use the laws of attraction to teach them. Do you have ideas about something I can say or techniques I can use with my grandchildren to help them understand how important it is to choose the right friends, to choose the right energy, to say it and believe it?
Yeah.
I'm listening.
Okay, Pete, what would you say? I'm going to let you go first.
Oh, great. Well, hi, Lucy. I haven't met you yet, I don't think. But anyways, that's a wonderful question. And I think for that, how old are your grandchildren, Lucy?
I have the two that I'm most concerned about are 14 and 10.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, great. So they're not like little kids then. Okay.
No.
So they're starting to get in that challenging age. I remember what it was like when I was a challenge myself. I think the biggest thing on that one, Lucy, is I would try not to push it upon them, and see if you can get them to pick up on their own, but guide them to just help them along the way, and just try to have them read encouraging material to get them exposed to this type of material, and be supportive. And my biggest thing was just totally drive into them that they've got the ability to live the life of their dreams, and there's nothing that they cannot be, do, or have. And I would just try to be as supportive as possible to your grandchildren, and it's try to get them to pick up on their own rather than try to spoon feed it to them.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully you'll have great success. I haven't really personally. I don't have any children or grandchildren, but that's probably how I would try to get my kids on board with doing it. Is let them come to their own conclusion, and just be totally supportive, and I would try to guide them from hanging around with the wrong kids, the people that aren't going anyplace, and try to put them with people that are going places. That would be helpful.
Right. That's a great answer. In addition to what Pete said, Lucy, I would, because kids are like little sponges. I mean, they can learn 3 and 4 languages at the same time. And with the ages of your grandchildren, I would sort of explain to them how it works in simple terms. Like, did you know that you can really create things and attract things in your life, because they're already playing games and looking at TV. So I would explain to them about the power of their own thinking. And then it's summertime. I would use the summertime for them to maybe set an intention. Okay, name one thing that you want to do for the summer. Let them start small, have them to write it down, because, they have childlike faith. They believe anything. If mom and dad says we're going to Disney World, they're going to think about it, talk about it, visualize it, etc. And I think they have something, Lucy, that I pray for. They have childlike faith. They believe that if grandmother Lucy says something to me, that they have childlike faith to believe. And I think that helps to keep them focused and out of a lot of the bullying activities that are going on in the school system. And we already know they have a vivid imagination. They can take a car and play like it's a big train or whatever. And so allow them to use their imagination and teach them how to be thankful for it. And I think those are very powerful ages. I think that Bill Gates was in his teens when he started visualizing about computers. So I would say make it simple. Let them set just a small intention for the summer. Have them to write it down, and then just assist them. Tell them to do this every day and see what happens with them. And once they manifest one thing, they're ready for the next thing, and it'll become like a habit for them.
Thank you so much, and I really look forward to the other questions that are going to be asked
I know.
tonight. Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, I know.
All righty.
That's sad.
All righty. So we have some people. I see area code 703.
It's Gypsy.
Hi.
name. Right. Yeah.
Hello. Is this
Thank
Beverly
you.
Grant?
Thank you too.
Hello.
Hello.
Is this Beverly
Oh,
Grant?
I'm sorry. Yes.
Hi, Beverly. You want to ask the question?
No, I'm just want to listen.
Okay,
I'm
all
sorry.
righty. All righty. She had her hand up. So if you want to ask the question, feel free. Don't be shy to just ask us anything. This is a great opportunity. Just like Miss Lucy asked about her grandchildren, it's a great opportunity for people to ask questions. And Pete, you and I received some questions in via email. So you want to go ahead and start answering some of those?
Sure, Constance. If no one else wants to jump in with some live questions, let's take a break and go right to some of the email questions.
Okay. And for my live callers, don't be shy. Just give your first name and just think about that one area in your life that maybe you've been struggling with it. You want to ask a question, and you have two experts on the line. So, Pete, this is one. It says, I feel like every time I move forward, I take 5 steps backwards. Then I get mad at myself, and of course, that keeps me stuck. How can I stay hopeful when it looks like things are not changing for me?
Ooh, okay, great. Well, that's a pretty loaded question there. My advice would be on that is, sometimes it's gonna feel like for every step you take you're taking, say 5 steps back. But the most important thing is to keep moving towards your goals and your dreams, and not let these temporary appearances of a setback actually hold you back. Because, in my experience, working with the law of attraction, I've seen a number of things that just didn't seem like they made any sense. It's like I feel like I'm doing all the right things, and why is this weird stuff showing up? It looks like rather than attracting in an opportunity, it appears on the surface that I'm attracting in a challenge. And the biggest thing I can tell everyone is, and this is from my personal experience, is sometimes these challenges, these things that appear to be challenges show up, are really the universe executing what it is that you say that you want to achieve, be, do, or have in your experience, and it just doesn't look like you thought it would look like. So don't take that as, oh, the universe is saying no. It's not saying that at all. It's you just need to keep steadfast in your faith and keep moving forward, because you don't know the enemy's, you don't know how the universe is going to get you from point A to point Z. And as long as you keep trusting and keep doing your part and believing, you're going to get there. And the biggest thing is, you can never, ever, ever, ever quit. Once you start on this journey, never, ever say die. You just have to be steadfast and believe that's working for you, and keep moving forward. And trust me, it will. I mean, it's so many people give up in the beginning before they even got started. So before it could manifest for them, they've already basically thrown away their faith that it is true for them, and they stop. And when you stop, that's the end of it until you begin the journey again. So have faith in the process and keep doing it, and don't trust the appearances.
Well, Pete, that's powerful. You have to move. You have to have a ritual every day. Every day, I'm going to take 10 minutes to meditate, no matter how you feel, no matter if you see anything, because you have to realize that when you do that on a consistent basis, you are placing yourself in what I call the success system. And we're so moved by what we see or don't see. So I would say to this person who emailed this question, turn away from appearances. And just like Pete said, keep focusing in on your intention and keep doing what you're doing. Pete, there are many days when I don't feel anything. But what do feelings have to do with anything when I know that I have my intention set and I'm going to turn away from my current circumstances and focus in on more of what I desire?
Constance, that is so true. And what I think we talked about this earlier today. And for all the listeners out there, so many times, and when I've been working with the law of attraction, is it seems like nothing's working. Everything looks to be exactly the same on the surface. Let's just say you're on the surface of you're in a canoe, you're on the pond, and everything looks exactly the way it was. And then all of a sudden, it's like a subterranean volcanic explosion of good things happens for you, and then all of a sudden, there's waves in the lake. All these wonderful things are coming to you that you've been working on. But 2 seconds before they actually manifested for you, it looked like everything was the same and nothing was changing. And this, like I said, don't trust the surface of the pond. Don't trust appearances, because in the background, it's always working for you.
Yeah, because it's a universal law. So if you want to ask me and Pete a question, just hit *6 and unmute yourself. Don't be shy. What I'm going to do is click on a couple of these numbers, Pete, and see if they want to ask a question. This is a great opportunity for Pete and I to coach you. And I wanted Pete on to be with me because he's a living example of living his dreams. Pete, I called you the other day, and you and your wife Robin went to where did you go to? Yellowstone Park or something like that. And I said,
yes.
I said, Pete, how was your vacation? You said, Constance, every day is a vacation. And I chuckled to myself when I hung up the phone because that's your mindset, but you haven't always been there. I remember you saying that it took you months of just meditating, focusing in on your intention and not seeing anything. So whoever this person is that sent this question is, just stay focused in on your intention and keep in that alignment of success.
Constance, that's exactly how it worked for me. And in the beginning, it was just like, I mean, when I started working with the law of attraction, I don't even think it was called the law of attraction. I don't think that the term might have been out there, but I really wasn't aware of it as of yet back when I began doing my spiritual work. And like, if anyone's read my book Visual Festation, I was I wasn't quite rock bottom, but I was pretty darn close. I was financially, and I started working these principles, and it wasn't overnight. But before I knew it, everything had changed for the better. And if let's say I stopped after doing this for about 2 or 3 weeks, I'd never be where I am today. And that's the thing I need to share with everyone is, for me, it wasn't like instantaneous results. It wasn't like I added 2 tablespoons of that and 2 tablespoons of this, added some water, and poof, I had the life of my dreams. But looking back now, this is about 15 years later. I wouldn't trade anything for the world. I mean, it did work for me. It will work for you. You just need to put in the time and do the spiritual work, and there's nothing you cannot be, do, or have. I cannot be any more sincere about this, and I need you guys to know this and trust it, believe it, and start taking action in your own lives.
Right. Well, if you want to ask us a question, you can hit *6 and unmute yourself. I see area code 240. I'm getting ready to unmute you to see if you have a question. Hello, area code 240. Do you have a question for Pete or myself?
Hi, good evening. I do not have a question at this moment, but I do thank you for asking, and I am enjoying this conversation.
Okay, Miss Angel, that's my dog's name. Okay. Well, that's a great thing. And so, Pete, well, let's go to our next question that was emailed into us. And it's sort of around the same thing. Dear Constance, I listen to podcasts read books, and have attended seminars. I have my intentions written down. However, I'm still struggling with not having enough money. Constance, do you believe that I have a poverty mindset? What can I do to get money quickly? And I'm going to say to this person who, thank you so much for sending in that question, but I don't know about quickly. Uh, this is what I believe. I want to commend this person for listening and reading books. But just like Pete said, I think you need to take one intention or one area, spend 30, 60, 90 days in that one area, let's say money, and begin to not only read, but to meditate on abundance. There is an unlimited supply of abundance for me. Meditate on the affirmations. Begin to speak them out. What are you doing? You're changing your consciousness because we live in states. We states of consciousness, a state of abundance, a state of lack. So the more you focus your attention on abundance and prosperity and wealth, your inside will begin to change, and you will begin to shift and change from a poverty mindset. You know, mindset is set like an alarm clock. Have you ever set an alarm clock? It stays there until you changes it. And so I would say by really going in and changing your thoughts around money, then you will begin to attract money to you. Because if it's not in your vibration, you cannot attract it into your life. What would you say about that, Pete?
Constance, I think that was brilliant. And I agree with you, Constance, too, as far as like the quickly part of it. That's one of the challenges that I run into with a lot of people who follow our blog is it's like they spent, let's just say you're 30 years old and you spent the last probably 15 years of your life worrying about lack and worrying about not having enough money. Well, until you can turn that game around on its head, that feeling, that vibration, you're really going to be blocking the opportunities of money coming to you because you're going to be canceling them out. And it's almost like you say you want vanilla, but the only thing you can worry about is like, well, what if they give me strawberry again? So it's almost like canceling it out. And one of the things that worked really well for me when I was having my, after I got downsized and I was having my financial challenges, is I used to visualize going to the mailbox, and what I would do is I visualize going to the mailbox, opening it up, and having nothing in there except junk mail. And so it's like I just take the stuff out of the mailbox. I'd see myself throwing it in the trash because it was all junk mail, and just feeling how good it was not to have any more bills. Mm-hmm. Now, when I was doing that, I'm doing this visualization exercise at the beach every morning and really getting into the feeling of how good it felt to not have those bills. And real world, it was like at that time, it was make-believe to me because the reality was at that moment in time, I would go to the mailbox, I'd open it up. There would be no room for junk mail because the box was full of bills, and all the bills did would make me feel bad. But by changing that visualization, changing that feeling, helped me overcome the feeling of lack. And then a massive abundance came in, and my whole world changed. And I just I just came up with that technique on my own of just like, how can I make this feel better in my hour of power? And sure enough, it worked, and it'll work for you. It's like, if stop playing, you gotta start changing the inside before the outside will change. And once you do change the inside, you turn it into a game that, this is my reality. Well, that will become your reality, not the temporary frustration place that you're living in temporarily. Remember, it's all temporary. Nothing's permanent. You're the person running the ship. you're the captain. Be the captain.
That's great, Pete. And I just want to say to everybody who's on the call, you set an intention and then, like Pete said, an elevated emotion. What do I mean by this? For this person who asked this question about money, begin to feel abundant. Wow, I don't know how, but money is coming to me. I'm going to start receiving money surprises. And just put yourself in the feeling place of what would it feel like for you to have more money. And meditation is just pondering and thinking. And many times, I know for me, in the past when I didn't have money, I was meditating more on what I did not have and what I needed to pay versus I don't know how there's an abundance of money. And so, like Pete said, it's inside. It's not outside. It's not going to a lot of networking groups and going back to school. And I'm for all of those things, but you have to spend the time inside every day, shifting and changing your beliefs, shifting and changing your consciousness, which is nothing more than your beliefs and all of the experiences that you've had. So that's what I would say about money. Great,
well said, Constance.
Great question. I see. Go ahead, Pete.
Yeah, and hey, just for I know we have a lot of callers out there that are probably very nervous about getting on the line, and it's just like, if it makes you more comfortable to not give your real name, just say, make up a name and ask your question, because if you don't ask the question, you wouldn't be on the call if you didn't have a question. And we're here for you guys, so
right.
Don't be nervous at all. It's just like, just imagine you're talking to your best friend, and Constance is pretty much the world's best friend. So
I am.
Yeah, you are.
I'm kissing myself. Yeah. Okay.
You deserve it. So all right. So guys, please ask a question if you have one.
Okay, I see area code 133. Hi, caller. Do you have a question? Area code 133. They're so quiet, Pete. They don't have a question.
I know. You're probably gonna get 1,500 emails in about 35 minutes, but I guess we'll need to go to another email question.
Okay, let's talk about. Let's see, which one do I want to go to? Okay, Constance. Sometimes the law of attraction seems so complicated. I hear so many people saying different things. What is the basic formula for the law of attraction, and if I use it, will I manifest my dreams? And I'm going to say to that, and Pete, you can add to it, that the law of attraction is a universal law. It's always working. It's working right now. Probably in the past, it was working negatively in your life. And basically, the law of attraction says that whatever your dominant thought, beliefs, feelings, experience, and words are over time, and eventually and inevitably, those thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and experience, if they remain dominant, will manifest in your physical world. It says that like attracts like. It's a universal law, like the law of gravity. And so if you want to use the law of attraction in your favor or in a positive way, then you make a decision to change what you believe, what you think, what you say, what you feel, and then you will create new experiences and begin to attract like things. You've heard in The Secret, thoughts and feelings become things. So an example of that would be if you're looking for a great relationship and your thoughts in the past have been, I'm too old, there aren't enough good people out here, everybody who I know is taken, I don't know anybody with a good marriage, then because it's a universal fixed law that God put into the universe, you're going to attract that. Conversely, if you begin to shift and say, wow, there's unlimited people in the world. I think it's 7 billion people. And God, all I want is one. And I believe that I'm beautiful, I'm handsome, I'm open to love, I'm loving. You begin to let that be your dominant thought. It's a universal law, and that's what you will attract to you. What would you say, Pete?
Constance, I couldn't agree with you more. The biggest thing to even make it even more simple. Essentially, you get what you believe in your life, in whatever you think. Because what happens is basically you're programming the next piece of your reality as you go along. It's like any thought that you think, be it positive or negative, does affect what's going on in your life moving forward. And I'm not a quantum physicist, and I'm not working behind the big curtain with the Wizard of Oz. But let me just tell you, it's just like you create your own reality, whether you believe it or not, and you're always creating, and you do it without even thinking about it. It's just like we all think thoughts all the time, but do we think about, was that an empowering thought? Was that a disempowering thought? And once you start paying attention to what your thoughts are and start putting the kibosh on, I'm not good enough. Well, that's not true at all. You're a perfect creation. You're a child of God. There's nothing you cannot be, do, or have. And the worst thing is, a lot of us have decided to accept limiting beliefs that were probably dumped on us by our parents or somebody else. It's just like, you can have it all, and you deserve to have it all, but you need to change your thinking and your belief system about your personal worthiness. You are worthy, and until you stop, playing the
victim game.
The victim card. Oh, thanks, Constance. I was lost for that word. Yeah, you got to get out of it. Until you get out of that victim mentality, the only thing you can be as a victim, move from victim to victor.
Right.
And do it now. Because the sooner you do it, the sooner it's going to get better for you. Period.
So, Pete, you have to deliberately create your life. What would that look like? It would look like this. Today, I'm going to on purpose take 30 minutes to think, feel, visualize, say what it's going to feel like when I take my vacation this summer. So you have to deliberately create that all day long, bringing your mind back, bringing your thinking back, bringing your feelings back, because it's a universal law, and it's really nothing that God can do. Somebody had sent in a question about, what's the difference between God and what role does God play in the law of attraction, Pete? And really, you have God, which is spirit, but then there are fixed universal laws, like the law of gravity. God's not going to change that. The law of sowing and reaping, the law of cause and effect, those are fixed laws. And so you need to align yourself with those laws. So you have the universal laws over here, and then you have God's spirit that you co-create with.
Constance, that was beautiful. I think one of the things a lot of people miss. This is Peter Adams speaking personally, is the law of attraction is not outside of God in spirit.
Yeah.
It's not some rule book over here for how to play the game on planet Earth, and then God is someplace else. It's like, no, you're having this experience to have basically live the life of your dream, have an amazing experience. And through you, God is going to, feel this wonderful joy, and the more joy you have, the better it is for the planet. So, it's you're always basically we're working with God, and it's just like these laws that are laid out, they're laid out here for you so that you can use them to create the most wonderful experience that you can have. The only challenge is when you popped in here to Earth, no one gave you the playbook. And now I'm over 50 years old. It took me 20 years to come around to figure out how it really works. And once you know how it works, you can use the system for you. These are laws. They will work for everyone, anywhere, anytime, any place, always, if you will do your part. It doesn't matter how old you are, where you live, you can create anything working with these laws, and you owe it to yourself, and just trust them, because read motivational books, read blogs, listen to Constance's show, but don't just listen. Get in the game and start taking action. It's your life.
Yeah, I love what LeBron James said. He said, I left everything on the court. Blood, sweat, and tears. I gave it all I had. And I'm going to say to everyone who's on the call and to listeners who will be hearing this live call that, you have to be passionate about creation. You have to be almost, I'm not going to say obsessed, but you have to be diligent about it. You have to really want it bad enough to turn television off, want it bad enough to get off of Facebook, want it bad enough to spend that time. I heard Dr. Joe Dispenza says that he spends 2 hours every day. And maybe yours is not 2 hours, but it does need to be a designated part of your life where you set aside that quiet time. It has to be a lifestyle. I was so hungry for change, I was almost obsessed with it. And I'm like, I refuse to live a mediocre life. And for me, that looked like I went to a support group. I got the counseling that I needed. I read every book. I did exactly what my mentor told me to do. I was doing stuff, Pete. I couldn't do what my friends were doing at that time because I was hungry for it. And so for everyone who's on the call, you have to be hungry for it and you have to do it.
Oh, Constance, that's an excellent example, because the one of the things I've come to realize is if you want to have an exceptional life, you need to be an exceptional person, and you need to put your time in. Like LeBron James, you need to leave it all on the court.
Yeah.
And to go back with when I started working with the law of attraction, started reading self-help books, etc., I was fed up. I had enough, and you're going to get to a point in your life where you just get to the point where you're just like, you know what? I'm not dealing with this anymore. This is either going to change, or I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm not going to quit until this does change, and it'll inspire you. But you got to get to that point where you get fed up. You're just like, you know what? This sucks. I'm not doing it like this anymore. I'm going to take action. And the biggest thing is, all your friends, for the most part, they're going to be doing their normal thing, and they can be probably telling you, oh, that stuff doesn't work. That book's not going to blah, blah, blah to help you at all. Well, you know what? They're wrong. They don't know jack. Mm-hmm. Trust me on this. I wrote the book. I got the miracles. It works. It'll work for you too. And believe me. I'm not just. I'm out here. Constance and I are here to help you have the life of your dreams, and that's why we do things like she puts on these calls. It's like we're here to help you, and once you achieve success, you can share this with your loved ones, and you could. These are universal principles. They work for everyone. And, share your success with, those you love. And, everything will get better for everyone.
Yeah. So if anybody has a question, you guys are awfully quiet. I'm not going to force you. You can hit *6, and we'd love to answer any question that you may have. So, Pete, let's go to another one of our questions that was sent in. one lady said, Constance, you talk a lot about starting with one intention. I believe that that's true because when I try to do too many things, it seems like nothing happens. I need to lose weight, but then I want to spend more time with my husband and my children. There are so many things that I want to do. Uh, how would I start with one goal and how would I prioritize my goal? And as you say on your show, what would that look like? You know, I say that all the time. So Pete, what would you say somebody who should they start with one intention? What's your take on that?
Constant, for this particular caller or the person who emailed this, the listener, from I believe that all these goals that she has are these are not like one thing. Do this one at a time. I believe that he or she can do all these things simultaneously, pretty much. And just it comes down to me, it comes down to goal setting and prioritizing your life. And what I mean by prioritizing is get up early. I mean, she could get up early before the kids are up or her husband's up, and have her hour of power, or do her hour of power. Maybe she wants to practice affirmations while she's going to the gym or out doing a power walk or whatever. Teaching her kids how to eat better. Well, that's simple. It just comes down to shopping healthier, and it's just all she really needs to do is just I believe just get out of her own way, prioritize, and create a basically a to-do list for her life and get started.
Well, I agree with that. And it sounds like she's a busy mother and wife, probably working. And you were right. So that may mean she'll have to get up an hour earlier. Maybe on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, she may spend more time with the children. Maybe on the weekends, more time with her husband. But it has to be a balancing act. And what will happen, let's just say she begins to eat healthier and exercise, and she begins to see some results in one area. Whenever you begin to see results, the law of momentum kicks in, and then it sort of fuels those other areas that she might be working on. So then that might mean she might be more energized to spend time with the children. She might feel more vitality to spend time with her husband. And so I just love that, boy, if we could just get one area, results in one area, how it's a big motivation for us. And the example that I would like to use is someone who loses weight. Okay, they lose 100 pounds and then they feel great about themselves and attract love, and then they're feeling more confident, and then they start a business. And so, it's like the snowball effect. So I would say to this person who sent this question in, just like Pete said, every day prioritize, give it all that you've gotten and watch the miraculous happen.
The whole momentum piece is so true. And what I also want to say too is, for this particular listener, don't tell yourself you don't have enough time.
Yeah.
Because then that becomes your reality. It's, I never have enough time. Well, that's essentially a negative affirmation. There is time. You just need to prioritize it. I mean, I can't tell you how many people will say to me, well, I don't have time for an hour of power. And then the next question I would ask them, well, how many hours of television do you watch a day?
Yeah.
And they'll come back with 4.5 hours. And I'm like, you watch stupid television that's they're not watching anything that's probably empowering. They're just watching junk. And then they burn up their ease rather than reading great books for that same amount of time or spending time with their family. It's just kind of like this, it gets lost in this TV void. And, once that time's gone, you don't get it back.
No, you don't. So once again, it's a matter of priority. Well, okay, Pete. Let me read another one. Um, got in the email. I am in a relationship with a man for 7 years, and we have two children, and we are not married. I want to get married, and he does not. Every time I bring up marriage, he gets upset. I feel like I have invested so much in this relationship, but he does not want to change. What should I do? And I know you're going to say, Constance, that's your question.
Well, Constance, that's your question. You're correct.
Well, I'm going to say this. I guess in my 25 years of counseling, I never tell a woman or a man to leave. That's a personal choice. So I'm just going to share principles with you. And I've done a lot of relationship counseling for many, many years. And I'm going to say that to this lady that you have to decide what you want and that you cannot change anyone else. And so if you want to be married and he does not, then you guys are not on the same pathway. I heard Dr. Phil say you don't ever want to have to beg a person to love you or to marry you, because if you have to beg them for that, you're going to have to beg them to stay. And so if you want marriage and you've already discussed that with him, looks like you need to make a decision and begin to align yourself and position yourself for what you want, which is what? Which is marriage. I hear all the time, well, I've just given my best years. And I've invested so much time. So maybe you want to do a paradigm shift in your thinking and begin to say, I've invested a lot of years, and the returns on that investment would be the great lessons that I've learned. So I'm going to extract the great lessons that I've learned from that relationship and begin to create a new relationship with a man who does have the same intention that I do, which is marriage. And that's a decision that you will have to make, but you can only change yourself. I would say go to some support groups on relationships. I guess one question I would say to you is, what is it that would make you stay in a relationship with a man who does not want to marry you when that's what you desire? And so you can go to any free relationship in the city that you live in on codependent relationship, on how to have a healthy relationship, etc. And then after you make that decision, and only you can do that, my dear, get a vision for what you want, and really you will begin to attract to you who you really are. That's what I'm going to say about that. Pete, you have anything to say about that?
Actually, I do, and you were very eloquent. I'm glad. I'm not the counselor with all the experience that you have, but just to, as an investor, when the lady said that she's got so much time invested in this relationship,
Mm-hmm.
well. From a capital budgeting standpoint, this is going to get tactical, but in a nutshell, we refer to that as a sunk cost. So it's just like a project moving forward, whether it's good or bad, has nothing to do with how much money we've already invested into the project, say capital. Because, just because we spent too much money or too much time into this project that is probably going to fail, does not mean we keep going forward and spending more money on it, capital or time. So it's just an analogy that just because you've got that amount of time invested into this relationship so far does not make that right for you to keep dumping more time and more emotional capital into it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. And just in my own life personally, I was in a relationship, and, what I wanted was marriage. And, when you are a mature man, a man knows what he wants. And he didn't want the same thing. And initially, I was really upset with him. But I realized over the years that he has the right to be who he is and where he is. And it was my choice to remove myself from that relationship. And even though we're still friends, he's a great man, but he wasn't my man. And so that decision, I believe, Pete, really came from knowing my own value, knowing my own worth, knowing what I desired. I had a vision for my own life. And so, since his vision did not align with mine, I made a decision. And I'm so glad that I did. So, that's what I would say to this particular person.
And causes. What you brought up another point too, which is great, and to me, what came through loud and clear is, and to everyone who's listening is, don't settle.
Right.
You know,
Uh-huh.
don't settle. Don't you're worth so much, and be with the right person, and don't settle for the wrong one, just so you won't be alone temporarily. I mean, it's not worth it. It's like, you sell yourself off in the short run, and at the and what you lose is the long run of happiness. So
Yeah.
don't never settle, please.
Well, Pete, we have about 5 minutes, and I guess our last question. Well, at least we can say that we had intense listeners today, right? thank, thank God for Lucy calling in
Oh,
and
oh,
asking her question.
oh yeah. No, that's fine. I know everyone's nervous to get on a live call because it's it can it can be kind of a little a little fearful, but as long as even if you don't pick up the phone and ask the question right now, just make sure you get the question to Constance and myself, so we can answer it for you, because if you have a question, we're here to answer it for you. And if at this moment, if it's a little bit nervous for you to get on the phone and talk to us directly, well, that's okay. Just email Constance, because I think she's going to be doing these kinds of shows more in the future, and
Right.
we'd really like to answer your question if you do have one.
And Pete, a lot of times I'll get an email and then I'll forward it to you and say, what's your take on this? Because, you are living the life of your dreams. I mean, you were living in Florida, you had a business there, and you decided, I'm going to leave the business there, but then I'm moving back to Colorado where it's cool. And so you are able to travel and do what you want to do while your business is, you got somebody else handling your business. So you're actually living the life of your dreams, and you've walked out the principles. And I just wanted a male perspective on this call. And to get just your insight and your revelation. So we have 5 minutes left, and I know you're going to love this question. The last question is, I have been trying to do my hour of power, but my mind is all over the place, Constance. I have so much going on in my personal life. It's so hard to concentrate. How do I relax, calm my mind down so that I can begin visualizing? Okay, Pete.
Okay, I did. I heard the language of try, struggle. It's like essentially for this listener, you've got to change your self talk, and the biggest thing is you've got to have the ability to turn off turn down the self talk in your head, because I like to call it monkey mind. Because I remember when I first started trying to visualize or meditate, I had no idea what I was doing, and it was almost like I'm thinking about my whole day, all these things that had nothing to do with meditating or visualizing are just coming in. It's just noise. So it might take a while, but what I learned was when I'm meditating is when I'm beginning to get into the meditative state is if I have one of these thoughts come in, I just basically hang up the thought and I stop where I'm at, then regroup myself and go back into meditation. Because the biggest thing for this listener is you've got to take control over your thought process, because if you don't, these random thoughts will come into your experience like a machine gun, just shooting all this noise at you, and you won't be able to, basically get into that quiet spot where you are the creator. So, it's like you can do the hour of power. You just need to make the decision that I want to do this, make it part of my day, and it's just like exercise. It's like the more you do these exercises, as far as like visualization, meditation, etc., they get easier and you get better at it.
So
and
true.
Nowadays it's from when I began, I was like in the same spot there. It was just like, how do I turn these thoughts off? Well, you figure it out, and basically then once you get a handle on that, you become the master of your thoughts. Once you're the master of your thoughts, you can become the master of your feelings, and then you're the master of your reality.
So true. And also for this listener, you may want to start with guided meditation, where the person guides you, close your eyes, relax, and so that your mind can be disciplined. They say that we can only hold attention on one thought for, I think it's 7 to 9 seconds, and then our mind goes to something else. So I would say initially starting, your personality, what might work for you might be guided meditation or whatever. And so hour of power doesn't mean an hour. It's just that time set aside. It might mean an hour, but it's that time that's set aside specifically where you are meditating, reading, praying, affirming, being grateful for your life, etc. But sometimes when I've had real busy days and I'm trying to quiet my mind, Pete, I'll just go on YouTube and find a guided meditation where the man says, relax, breathe in, breathe out, and that just calms my mind, and then that can lead me into my own meditation. So you got to know your own personality, what works for you. Are you a morning person or evening person? And you have to do it every day. And the more disciplined you become, the more you want to do it. So, Pete, I ask you this every time I talk to you. Have you ever missed your hour of power?
Well, that's why I don't, Constance, because I know you're going to ask me a question. It's almost like I can't skip a day because Constance is going to ask me about that. I'm like, well, there was one day in 2015 when No, but I do it every day. I live for it, and you know how that is.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm so into it is because it works. In my life, it has worked miracles, and an analogy I've given before when we've done the show is just imagine this. Imagine that you're a fisherman on a sport fishing charter, and reeling in the fish is the equivalent of your hour of power. So every day you do your hour of power, you see you visualize your goals being true. It's just like turning the reel and bringing that fish closer to the boat. And if let's say you decide to not do your hour of power for say 3 days, well, just imagine that giant marlin, that huge sport fish you have on your line. Well, you're not reeling. Well, the fish is just swimming away until you come back and pick up that reel, which is your hour of power, and start doing your internal work to bring your goal, which is the fish, into your reality onto the boat. And that's why I do it, because I know it works.
Yeah.
I know it works like the sun coming up every day. I'm there. I'm serious about having a wonderful life, and I don't take it laying down. And for anyone listening to the show, you've got to do it for you. No one else can do this for you. It's all up to you, and you deserve to have the life of your dreams, and it's up to you to wake up every day and get busy.
So true. Well, Pete, can you believe that an hour has gone by. And I just appreciate you being on the call. I appreciate all the people, even though you didn't say anything, there were so many of you listening, and we know that your life will be blessed, and just so grateful for this opportunity. And as I say every Sunday, once again, this is Constance Arnold, and God loves you. And you know that I'm crazy about you, and I love you. And so does Pete, right, Pete?
Absolutely.
And remember this, the best is yet to come. Have a great week.
Thank you for listening to Think, Believe, and Manifest. Constance Arnold will be back next week with another great show just for you. For more information, please visit fulfillingyourpurpose.com.